back, everybody, to our Alumni Couch segment. I'm so excited today because we have Anthony Velevitch, and I hope I said that correctly, who's one of our incredible WSU alumni. So welcome, Anthony, and it is so good to have you here.
So I started at the university, but when I started it was the Nepean College of Advanced Education, so that was back in '89. I did my degree at night. And I worked full time at that stage. So it was quite interesting because I was 17, 18, and I was actually spending a lot of time with the mature age students because they're the ones that came in the evening. I spent 4 years at Deloitte's doing auditing back in the late 80s, early 90s. Then I went to Dresdner Bank where I was doing some treasury work. I went to Rothschild's for 4 years. Where I did some business review. Then I went to Deutsche Bank, again that was in Sydney, where I went into metal financing. So I did gold mining finance. I spent a lot of time in Kalgoorlie, Southeast Asia, Africa, going down a lot of gold mines. Then I went to Credit Suisse. I worked there for 11 years, and it was during my time at Credit Suisse that I moved over to London. So I spent a year with Credit Suisse in Sydney and then 10 years with them in London. Then I went to Citibank, and I worked at Citibank for 9 years. And now I've joined Westpac. I've been here for about 5 months now. I did a Bachelor of Commerce. I majored in accounting. I also did a sub-major in law. What I found was interesting is because I was doing my course part-time, it was the interaction that I found with such a diverse range of people, because everyone that I was doing the course with were working. So they had such diverse backgrounds, they were working in different roles. And what it gave me the ability to do was see how I could use my degree to different careers. It's just such a diverse culture of people, where they're at in their career, and just being able to visualize how you can use your degree professionally. When I was doing my degree, if someone had tapped me on the shoulder and said that, you know, in 30 years' time, you'd be a chief risk officer in London, having worked there for 20 years, I would have just sort of shook my head and thought, what? I didn't even really know what a chief risk officer in an investment bank would be doing. So I think, sometimes we become so preoccupied and focused on achieving a particular job that we lose sight of all the other jobs that get created as we progress in our career. And there's a lot of jobs out there that we don't know. But I think it's a matter of not necessarily being totally focused. Have a direction in your career where you'd like to go. I always wanted to go into finance, and I liked banking, but I didn't know what role in there I wanted to do. So, have your path, but you've got to be flexible. One of the things that I enjoyed was when I was in gold mining finance, and we did the first gold denominated loan in Australia. And so what we did is it was for 1 million ounces of gold, and the counterparty repaid us in gold, which we took as payment on our refinery. It was a great structure, and it was very interesting working on that. And part of it involved me spending a lot of time down at the mine, because we need to ensure that the mine that we were financing could deliver the gold. The other thing I've enjoyed doing as well is I used to run a training program over in New York for people in the risk organization that had to make what we call delegated authority. So, for example, if we had a deal where we want to lend money to a large corporate for a mergers and acquisitions deal, it would come to me as the risk officer, and then I approve it. As a student, you're obviously working on the technical part with your degree. But one thing I would always encourage people is to never underestimate the importance of soft skills in your career. So, for example, listening. We've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them that way, right? So do a lot more listening than you do talking.
Sure.
Presentation skills. It's great to have a technical competency, but if you can't present that to people, and particularly if you're presenting a deal or an idea, that can struggle. And it's really great to develop these soft skills to have in your little toolkit that you can access when you need them, as opposed to going, oh, I've got a presentation, I better go and learn how to do it. And probably a third one, if I could, is just stick it out. There's going to be a time when you are going to do a job that you don't like. You might be good at it, but you just don't like it. But don't lose sight of the end goal. I think some people tend to be quite flippant in their careers. They try a bit, move back and forth. And for some people that might work. But what I've found from my experience and with the teams that I've managed is that, you need to persevere. Sometimes you've got to push through the pain barrier and don't lose focus of the end goal.